Every year, around the third month of the lunar calendar, Taiwan just completely comes alive. It's for a celebration so huge, so full of energy, you almost have to see it to believe it. This is the Mazu Pilgrimage, and it's easily one of the world's great religious festivals. So, what is it that pulls hundreds of thousands of people together for this absolutely epic journey of faith? Well, let's find out. Someone who saw it described the whole scene with just three words: noise, color, and anarchy. And honestly, that kind of nails it. It's just this massive explosion for your senses. You've got a whirlwind of fireworks, you hear trumpets blaring, and the streets are just a sea of people. But underneath all that beautiful chaos, there's a tradition that's incredibly meaningful and ancient. And yeah, when I say massive, I really mean it. This is not your local parade. We're talking about a procession that can pull in over 100,000 devotees. They come from all over Taiwan and even the world, all gathering to honor this one single goddess. And that's the real question, isn't it? What could possibly inspire this level of devotion? To really get the festival, you have to first understand the goddess at the very heart of it. And her story, well, it's pretty remarkable. You know, what's so fascinating is that this all-powerful Empress of Heaven wasn't always a goddess. Her story actually starts with a mortal woman, a quiet girl who was born on a tiny island. So, the legend says she was born way back in 960 AD. They named her Monyang, which means silent girl, because, get this, she never cried, not once. From a really young age, she had this incredible spiritual power. The most famous story about her is how she fell into a trance while her dad and brother were out at sea. In this vision, she saw their boat sinking in a terrible storm and reached out to save them. She managed to rescue her brother, but her mother, trying to wake her up from the trance, accidentally made her lose her grip on her father. Then, at just 28 years old, she simply walked into the mountains and, well, ascended to the heavens, becoming an immortal. And this is where her story gets woven into the very history of Taiwan itself. This is how she goes from being a local legend to the protector of a whole nation. To really get why she's so important, you've got to go back about 4 centuries. Taiwan's ancestors were migrating from mainland China, and to get there, they had to cross the Taiwan Strait, which was incredibly dangerous. It was a journey where so many people lost their lives. So they prayed to Mazu for protection. And pretty soon, legends started spreading. Stories of a woman holding a red lantern, appearing in the middle of storms to guide ships safely to shore. She became their guardian. Her reputation just grew and grew, so much so that she wasn't just some local folk deity anymore. Chinese emperors started giving her official titles, and it all culminated during the Qing dynasty when a royal edict officially named her Tianhe, the Empress of Heaven. Okay, so that's the why. Now let's get into the how. What actually happens during this unbelievable pilgrimage? Because it is so much more than just a long walk. At the absolute center of this whole procession is the palanquin, or shenjiao, and this is not just a fancy chair for a statue. Believers feel that it carries Mazu's actual divine presence, her spiritual energy, her life force, her qi. Just to touch it is to receive blessings for the whole year. And the journey this sacred palanquin takes is just immense. The pilgrimage covers almost 300 kilometers. It often lasts for 8 days and 7 nights, and the pilgrims get very, very little sleep. It's a true test of both physical and spiritual endurance. And, you know, the route isn't always the easiest one. The whole journey is guided by Mazu's divine wishes, and sometimes that means she wants her followers to walk straight through rivers instead of just taking the bridge. But as one person put it, the devotees are always willing to make the sacrifice. The procession is absolutely packed with these powerful rituals. Those deafening firecrackers, they aren't just for celebration. They're meant to scare away evil forces. The palanquin is often rushed forwards and then backwards. That's a ritual to gather up enough qi for the long journey ahead. And maybe most powerfully of all, you'll see devotees prostrate themselves on the street, just lying flat so the palanquin and Mazu herself can pass directly over their bodies for a profound blessing. But the relationship with Mazu isn't just about these huge public rituals. It's also deeply, deeply personal. Devotees believe they can actually speak directly with her. And this is key. There are no intermediaries. You don't need a priest or a medium. Anybody can ask Mazu a question or make a wish. And they do it using these crescent-shaped wooden blocks. So here's how this conversation works. After you ask your question, you drop the blocks. They're called jiaobei. If one lands flat side up and the other lands flat side down, the answer is yes. If both flat sides are down, that's a no. And what if both curved sides are up? That means Mazu thinks your question is irrelevant, or maybe you should just ask again later. It's this incredible, tangible bridge between a person's hopes and divine guidance. So as we pull back, it becomes really clear that Mazu is so much more than a deity people worship once a year. Her legacy is literally woven into the fabric of Taiwanese society. She is a symbol of community, of bringing people together. She's a direct link to the ancestors who braved that dangerous sea to build a new home. She represents that universal idea of motherly care and protection. The source material even calls her the divine metaphor for the entire nation's hopes and values, a symbol of its whole spiritual character. When it comes down to it, the Mazu Pilgrimage is just this stunning display of collective faith, and it leaves us with a really powerful question. What does this incredible walk of faith tell us about the power of belief itself? I mean, when one story can bring hundreds of thousands of people together to endure and celebrate as one, well, it shows you just how profoundly a shared belief can shape a culture, a community, and even an entire nation.